तो हो गया भाई. Yes, it's me. 1983.
Good morning, everyone. I request all of you to kindly either switch off your phone or keep it in silent. We'll be having a floral tribute. There is a tradition in our university that we generally give a floral tribute to Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Patel for every training program. Okay, so that will be an online thing which will be after we have our photo sessions at the grand. Okay.
हो गया थोड़ा ट्रिब्यूट का ऑन कर दीजिए नहीं नहीं कुछ नहीं हाँ सी वो तो उसको पहले ओपन कर देते हैं पूरा ट्रिब्यूट हाँ
करवाड़ा मला कने
लो यार फोकस को फुल स्क्रीन करो उसको
Well, good morning to all of you and welcome to RRU. I'll be one of the faculty maybe in future and days to come. Today I am a bit busy. I have a few lectures outside. So I've just come to say hello to all of you. And maybe some good time or bad time, tough time, when I ask about the questions about security, you may not like it. When I teach, you may like it. So you will have a mixed flavor when we interact on the security or especially on industrial security. Because I have seen the industry very closely, and the industry like DRDO, ISRO, nuclear power plant. So I have been auditing these installation security audit for enhancing and improving the security related issues. So it will be a good time to interact with all of you and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
क्या हुआ? सर सर આપણી ને લાસ્ટમાં થશે એવું કીધું.
અરે અત્યારે પેલામાં વીજળી નીચે એવું કહેતા હતા કે પહેલાં કરવા
रेडी
हाँ रेडी.
ओके लाइट जा रहे हो
हाँ
जा रहे हो
14 मिनट हुई.
आते रहो ऊपर जा एक ही जगह स्टार्ट में
एक एक करके ना आप लोग आते जाओ, सर आप आते जाओ, and then we'll start the floral treatment.
your orientation is locked rotate device back
नहीं यही रहेगा.
ऐसे ही रहेगा
वो तो ये स्क्रीन लॉक हो जाएगी, बाकी यूट्यूब पे ये
चलता रहेगा.
landscape में ही दिखेगा.
ओके देखते हो चेक किया होगा
हाँ
समय देख लीजिए लाइट जो जा रहे हैं वो बढ़ता है ठीक है आज बच्चा परेशान करने वाला माथे गिम्बल नहीं हुआ गिम्बल ज़्यादा
Start करें. Ready to go? चल. एक एक करके आएंगे. यहाँ से आप क्लिक करेंगे ना वहाँ से एक मिनट. हाँ.
नहीं वहाँ पे माय फ्लोरल टिप
ट्रिब्यूट महात्मा गांधी सलाह है, वहाँ पे क्लिक करिए सर. हाँ. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट पीस.
नीचे कुछ लिखवाना होता है उनका नाम.
अच्छा हाँ. नेक्स्ट
सब में लिखवाना पड़ेगा।
सर एक मिनट, अब आ जाओ। ये नीचे वाले में ना आपका एक छोटा सा बहुत शॉर्ट सा मैसेज एंड योर नेम। माय एनकरेजमेंट मैसेज टू राष्ट्रीय रक्षा यूनिवर्सिटी, योर फुल नेम।
सब लिखो।
अच्छा, हम सब ने मैंने एक लिंक भेजा है आपके आरआरयू का जो अभी ट्रेनिंग का ग्रुप बना हुआ है, उसमें जाइए, उसको ओपन करिए, डू द सेम थिंग। डिम्पल आप आ जाओ। आफ्टर दिस इनके बाद में आप ये कर लेना। डिम्पल प्लीज कम। आप सब लोग कर पा रहे हो?
Yes, well done.
हो गया, थैंक यू। कोई बात नहीं, हम बाद में कर लेंगे। अगर अभी एरर आ रहा है हम ये बाद में कर लेंगे। जिसका हो जा रहा है जिसका नहीं हो रहा है we'll do it on later.
सर आ जाएगा ना सर के सामने ऐसे वीडियो बनाते हो ना, ऐसे मूवी कैसे शूट करते हो वैसे करते हो।
अच्छा सब लोग सुनो, आज का फ्लो ये है, ये अभी हमारा इनॉग्रेशन सेशन होगा, फिर हम फोटो सेशन के लिए जाएंगे, उसके बाद फिर आप डायरेक्टली चले जाएंगे अपना एग्जाम देने के लिए। आफ्टर एग्जाम विल ब्रेक फॉर लंच। लंच के बाद आप वापस हमें यहाँ पे ही मिलेंगे, मतलब नीचे ग्राउंड में 2 बजे के पहले 1:45 तक सब आ जाएंगे। फिर हम साइकोलॉजिकल एग्जाम के लिए चलेंगे।
है ना बुक करते जाओ
A country that has strong security forces, Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Bimal Patel, University Dean Dr. Akshat Mehta, Senior Vice President Mr. Gopal Chaudhary, Directors of the school, and dear participants. A very good morning and a warm welcome to the basic course in Corporate Security Management. I am Chester Verma, Project Officer, School of Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology. I request Professor Dr. Bimal Patel to present the memento to Dr. Gopal Chaudhary. Thank you, sir. All aspects of security requires personal and professional competencies and skills. We are very well aware that security occupations are challenging and complex. Whether it is a security officer de-escalating a potential workplace violation, a security manager building a comprehensive operation management program, or a chief security officer developing a global security plan. Training and education are necessary. While some skills needed for security may be transferable from one occupation to another, they are only being learned either by classroom or in field, preferably both. But I would like to say majority of the skills are best planned by a training program. We at Rashtriya Raksha University are delighted to initiate this program, one of its kind training program scheduled here for the next 3 months. The university endeavors on highly professional security, police education research and training through its qualified civilians and security faculties, professional discipline environment and a worldwide network. It aims at providing security and strategic education in the contemporary and futuristic security areas. Let me now take you to the journey of Rashtriya Raksha University through a small video.
Safe, secure, and developed nation requires inculcation of the highest ideals of citizenship and citizen-centric services, with intellectual acumen, more commitment, and professional competence. To inculcate these eternal values and ethos into every citizen, and to create well-trained personnel in the field of national security, the Honorable Prime Minister of India and the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, Shri Narendra Modi, envisioned a university, Rashtriya Raksha University. Rashtriya Raksha Sambobai. Established in 2010, Raksha Shakti University in Gujarat started working diligently to strengthen one of the Panch Shaktis called Raksha Shakti for the progress of the nation. The university was transformed from the state level into the national level in the year 2020 as the Rashtriya Raksha University under the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Government of India. Serving the nation as an institution of national importance, the university aims to become an academic research training ecosystem for national security and policing. It endeavors to impart international standards of training, research, education, extension in security, and policing with the help of qualified, committed, and motivated faculty. Amit Shah and the Ministry of Home Affairs, RRU, is laying strong foundation and preparing a pool of dedicated young women and men who are aspiring to serve for a long time Central Armed Police Forces, State Police Forces, Paramilitary Forces, Defense Forces, and private and corporate security. Spread over 230 acres land in Navad, Gandhinagar, generously donated by the Gujarat government, RRU has been receiving support from the successive leadership of Gujarat since 2010 and is being nurtured by the committed institutional leaders. The university has 10 schools, which offers diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctorate level programs. The Security and Scientific Technical Research Association, SASTA, is India's first national security innovation center with an objective to facilitate a three-way engagement between academia, industry, and the government for innovation, incubation, and technology acceleration in the security space. Global and national experts, practitioners, and faculty impart contemporary and futuristic training and education, working towards enhancing the police image for their competence, dedication, and caring services, as well as empowering women in security. University has state-of-the-art IT and cyber security lab, artificial intelligence lab and machine learning lab, forensic lab, brain mapping tools, human performance lab, just to name a few. As an empowered organization of the External Affairs Ministry, Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program, RRU is reaching out to friendly and like-minded nations across the globe, emerging as a contributor to the global security knowledge resource base. School of the Internal Security and Police Administration works for smart police who are strict but sensitive, modern and mobile, alert and accountable, reliable and responsive, techno-savvy and trained. Coastal and marine policing, tourism policing, community policing, and working for public safety and security of women, weaker sections and minorities. The university stands out as a fulcrum of future of India's security needs, interests, and concerns. Women empowerment and security centers precisely to empower through tailor-made programs for women to join security forces, to prevent, reduce, and control the menace and threat of narcotics, explosives, among others. School of Internal Security and Police Administration, the school is dedicated dog squad with trainers and ready to groom boys and girls who want to join this emerging area of search and investigation of the national security. Continuous professional learning and enriching the knowledge base and skill set of emerging security needs. The online integrated platform, RISE, provides learning opportunities in any remote part of the country. With augmented base of 122 training programs and 6,500 beneficiaries till now, the university runs psychotherapy centers at villages like Navad, Samba, and Belgaum as a part of extension and outreach initiative. RRU offers modern classroom facilities, advanced laboratories and equipment, digital as well as physical library, normal and adventure sports facilities, and good quality of hostels. University NCC Battalion resonates the call to join armed and security forces. Strategic languages, knowledge of national and international affairs, insights into defense and military history of the nation and globe, complemented by strong and rigorous physical and mental fitness training, is an integral daily life of RRU boys and girls. During the university's first convocation, 1,092 young graduates were awarded various degrees.
राष्ट्रीय रक्षा शक्ति यूनिवर्सिटी अपना व्याप बहुत तेजी से बढ़ाने का अब तेजी से सभी क्षेत्रों में जाकर अपना एक कैंपस कम से कम पूरे क्षेत्रवार इसकी चिंता करेगी.
To spread wings and scale to the newer heights, RRU has opened its first off-campus center in Arunachal Pradesh, and the other one is coming up in Uttar Pradesh. In a short span of time, RRU has generated keen interest of dons of the national security field. Skilling the aspirants, upskilling the in-service personnel, and reskilling ex-servicemen and women. RRU prepares right national security-related human resource for the nation.
यूनिवर्सिटी देश का कहना है जो राष्ट्र की रक्षा के लिए यहाँ जो चिंतन मनन शिक्षा ट्रेनिंग होगी राष्ट्र रक्षा के लिए आने वाले कार्यक्रम में देश के अंदर एक नया विश्वास पैदा करेंगे.
Rashtriya Raksha University, the emerging global address for security education.
Vice Chancellor, Dr. Professor Vimal N. Patel, Rashtriya Raksha University. Sir is an esteemed educationalist, jurist and an administrator, and during his professional career over 3 decades, he has served in various roles such as Director at Gujarat National Law University and has been a member of 21st Law Commission of India. He has also worked for 15 years at global organizations such as United Nations of Youth and Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, Netherlands. Sir, I would like to call upon Sir to introduce.
Jai Hind, and a very good morning to you all. Well, coming to the stairs, Sigpal Chowdhury reminded me that dream comes true, and indeed is dream coming true. But the dream is coming with some interesting premium as well, and the premium is the future of India. When Mr. Dave mentioned to me that you have 24 officers, 12 of them are women and 12 of them are men. So the equality, the inclusivity of entire paradigm of security with women is something premium. So I really congratulate you and my team. This is for the first time that the university is having more women than men or equally. But there is also aligning with our own personal model. Not to exaggerate, but 40% of workforce of this university is women. So we walk the talk, like really walk the talk. I don't want to be gender biased, but just to flatter in the morning because it's a very beautiful morning. So thank you very much, sir, for this unique training wherein the university is now collaborating with the leading conglomerate of the country in the area of security. The mission of this university is to make sure that as the government's resources are dwindling and government cannot keep up with hiring more and more public security officers, guards, you just name it. And therefore, we need to play a huge vertical parallel to the government so that the government's requirement for this, the entire country's requirements are met. I give an example of the law fraternity. Before national law universities were created, you always had typical law students, law graduates appealing for the first course, district courts, and the judges or the attorney generals or advocate generals of various states would not take note of the law officers or law graduates, who ask the 5+3+3. But when the entire initiative of National Law University started, and the university came up with, all the national law universities across the country came up with the integrated law degree model, where the students are actually undergoing rigorous academic research and importantly training for 5 years in variety of setups, academics, NGOs, courts, etc., etc. And as a result, what has happened, friends? I can say with confidence and personal experience as well. When the law graduates from the national law universities are standing even before the Supreme Court judges, I'm not talking the High Court judges, Supreme Court of judges, or High Court judges or Chief Justice, the judges are very alert as to what they are going to argue for. The reason being, the academic training which have been imparted in these young graduates have made all the changes, drawing their parallel into the security domain. what I mean to say is, currently of course the university has few batches coming out, but years and years on the road, as more and more graduates will be coming out from this university or for the matter campuses across the globe, I'm sure the demand of security professionals coming out from such advanced professional universities will be high. Actually, they would like to pay premium. The way the law firms and the corporate offices are paying premium to the law graduates coming from NLUs, I do see this is definitely happening. And it is possible because the law graduates are also just passed out 12. But imagine the academic institutions like NLUs really created this entire legal market economy. There is a clear separation between the traditional law colleges, what they are offering, and what the national law universities. In other words, the RRU, of course, is only one university, but of course, our campuses are opening across the country and globally in future as well. So once somebody is undergoing training at RRU, I'm sure his or her premium will be very high, not only in India, but across the globe. Selecting the mining industry, the most sought after strategic industry in the country, has been feeding the industry, security industry for decades now. So we all are learning from Shikupal Chaudhary. But very important is strategic mining is considered to be one of the most important or one of the most critical industry for the national security goals of the country. So I do not see this trade just as another security professional trade. No, sir. I'm looking at these young boys and girls as those who are protecting and promoting the vital interests of the mining industry and whatever it goes with it. And therefore, because if India would need to achieve the 5 trillion economy or advanced economy by 2047, the mining industry is going to play an extremely important role. You have seen what has happened. I mean, of course, it is not lecture of the kind, but how China overtook entire West, including United States, as far as the mining industry was concerned. India is looking forward for it, and that also means we'll be looking forward for a lot of collaboration with those countries who are having strategic mining resources. We are looking at Africa particularly, and here the model will be what Honorable Prime Minister is saying is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We are not looking exploitative model where Western countries exploiting the Africans or China. No. We are looking at a model whereby even if it is placed as in Gambia or Ghana or Lesotho or where not in future, but you will be integrating your counterparts in those countries in a very civil manner, very integrated manner, so that they will also feel that you are not anymore the guest like what they have been pursuing to Chinese and Americans, but they will be that actually you are contributing to the growth of their economy. So it is a very fundamental way to think through, but it is you can do it, because if you are a security officer, you will be making sure that there is a quality element, that there is no fear among those who are the stakeholders, so whether it is a miner or government or the industrialist, and this is going to be very important for you, and therefore a very enhanced professional training, very, I'm sure over the next 3 months that you are here, there will be scientific and systematic component of actually management. So we are not simply looking at providing the training, but actually transforming the thought process from ordinary security officer to manager. Today they are here, but imagine 2047, I'm not talking of the country, but Vedanta only, they might be having a footprint across the globe. Some of them will be CEOs, right? Or they are starting at GFC, they will be CEOs, in 5-7 years down the road. So I would really request that in the next 3 months, we besides providing them hands-on training with regard to the assessment plan and CCTV monitoring and high digital video recording and whatnot, which is very important. Physical, mental security, all these things, very important. But I would also request you that we should have a couple of at least days dedicated session on the leaders. Because we have to see each and every security officer who are coming to the university, not as an officer, he's a leader, he's a security leader. And when I say security leader, I'm not looking simply as the one who has a vision of India. That who looks, who works for the security of the globe, security people. I think that dynamic has to change. Of course, yours is, no one can envy your job, I must say, because you are facing all kinds of threats. Human threat, legal threat, mafia threats, you just imagine. So, actually, all these threat perceptions which are there, day in and 24/7, because any small inadvertent mistake can of course pay your cost in terms of losing the job. But it can also dent an image in the country that the mining industry in India is not, say, secure. Because we are also looking at a lot of foreign collaborations, investment, etc., etc. So therefore, if unless and until you elevate yourself from a security officer to I'm as good as Mr. Chaudhary is doing his job as the head of the entire group, but I am as indispensable as Mr. Chaudhary at the corporate level. I think that thought process we have to inculcate in us. And I'm sure will that happen. All of you will be looking not as you as security officer, no. See, once a task has been given to the gentleman and women, we are sure that particular aspect of security is taken care of. But when we are talking of the training, when we are talking of threats, or as the Prime Minister rightly said, that all these works have to be performed with fun and humor. Because I think we are in a university. When we say security itself, we have kind of indoctrinated security with so high-end concepts. So we do not feel security means standing very deep face, stout, No, I think the element of fun and humor, what we also see in a lot of foreign countries, but very strict limitation of my job versus what I expect you to do. I think that is also something, the other aspects which soft skills. I'm sure they are already incorporated to your communication skills. So that will be very, very important as well. I would also say that while every one of us, we should keep that punch crown of the Prime Minister in mind. Because as a responsible citizen, as citizens which you are looking for, America has So the whole idea is that by 2047, as I said to you, you might be having your own mining industry, who knows? But in 2047, if you start preparing your blueprint from now on, you will see where you will be leading to. And if you remain committed, if you are hardworking, I'm sure you will have been elevated. Another important point which I would like to mention to you and also to Sri Chaudhary is, if you believe that you would like to invite for cross-fertilization of ideas and best practices from foreign mining industry, best practices, some looking maybe African nations, please let us. So for example, if you say that you would like to select 5 or 7 of your officers and you would like to send them to, let's say, XYZ country, because we have mandate, RRB has mandate to work across the globe. So as a part of the research project or training project, we can also send, in a again, public-private, more your officers or your them to African countries as well. In other words, opportunities are infinite. Similarly, if you think that whether Mr. Chaudhary mentions or not, but if you believe that yes, you would like to learn specific aspects as a group, because one thing is, thanks to sir, that this thing is taking place. But we have to get ourselves what kind of trainings I require. Because sir sitting at the conglomerate level, he would not be able to identify every micro security needs. It is you who can prepare your ecosystem of security. And then you can go to the management or to sir and your model. That based on my experience, what I learned from RRU, I believe that this is something very important. And I think once that starts happening, Mr. Chaudhary will also see you as a partner in progress. He will not see you simply as an employee, but you are coming up with models which helps protect and promote Vedanta and for that matter any industry you are working in. So I would also request when you are in an academic institution of this kind, it is very important that you also create your own ecosystem of training. Another important thing, and of course in the next 3 months or so, you will have exposure to all our laboratories. If you believe that you would like to create certain apps which would be helpful for your performance of your jobs, the RRU has as many as 350 young graduates just studying information technology, artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. Friends, let me make it very clear. As much as Vedanta also would like all of you to retain your jobs right up to the pension time, I am sure 2030 comes and you will be faced by the management that please cut down the forces from 100% to 50%. We can be out of jobs in no time. We can be out of jobs in no time. What does it mean? It means we should use every single opportunity of trainings like this one to also advance your next level of knowledge and training. And there, as I mentioned to you, the artificial intelligence, cyber security, criminology, behavioral science, and I'm sure Mr. Devin, Ms. Soumya will take you to our laboratories. How the applications of various sciences and engineering fields and technology fields you can learn, and you can also develop, as I said, apps, so that you slowly and steadily you transform. When I say you become a CEO, it doesn't mean that tomorrow someone will appoint you as a CEO. No, you will prove yourself. So, for example, if you would start using the AI or CS or criminology or behavioral science or forensics for that matter, or for example, the physical and mental security kind of training which we provide. Can you imagine? For example, some of you would be leading a huge laboratory assessing the mental fitness of the entire Vedanta security industry. I'm not talking the security officers, I'm talking right from the top to the bottom. So this also contributes to the security concept. So security is not just what we are looking, and as you see in the video as well. The digital security is an all-over concept, and physical security is just but one, perhaps very important, but just one component of the digital security concept. And that's same. What India wants to do, Vedanta also wants to do the same thing. So Vedanta is just microcosm of what India is aspiring. What the challenges the Prime Minister is facing, the Vedanta maybe facing the same problems. He has aspirations, the Prime Minister has aspirations, all have aspirations. So I would request you to look these 3 months of training for the next goal of your professional career as well. I'm sure over the next 3 months, we would also request Mr. Dave to bring some of the multinational companies which came the other day for collaboration with RRU. So those who are based actually in and around, after talking to Sri Chodhisa, if you could invite them, so they can also tell us about their experiences. How, for example, how Israelis provided training to the security officers in some of the countries. Those are all very well established in the job. But of course, keeping in mind the confidentiality, secrecy, and business interest of Vedanta. But I think this is something which is very important. So we can also bring the multinational companies who are working privacy for some session, or maybe we can take them to those, their offices as well, like Rodra or Nawal. I think if they will be talking to senior managers of security, of multinational security companies, I think that will also give them a lot of ideas as well. So with these welcome remarks, I thank Singapore Journey for walking the talk, my colleagues Mr. Nave, Ms. Sonia for making sure, and I can only assure that more and more successes and effective collaboration will be in place. My colleague Dr. Akshay Mehta, leading the university from front, making sure that we all security officers become academicians as well. So academic content is very important because until unless we become knowledge, we are talking knowledge driven economy. It is not simply every field of knowledge, be it security or otherwise. So I thank sir for his leadership. My colleague Mr. Sigala, who has been as a fountainhead of the entire corporate public security. He has reached out all possible partners across the country, and of course from multinational companies as well. So I'm sure with his guidance and country's commitment, we'll be able to achieve a greater heights. Of course, my School of Internal Security Police Administration, Mr. Rathore and everyone, and very importantly, all of you are contributing many times. I do not, list out each and every one individually, but I'm sure all of you, everyone will remember. So if they would get a nice blanket in the night, if it's very cold, they would say thanks hostel staff, right? And if Dharti Madam will give them a good treatment and with a good Gujarati food or Urdu and Uttarayan, I'm sure they would enjoy that. We might be coming from different parts of India, but we witnessed for the first time what Uttarayan is all meant in Gujarat as well. So I'm sure there will be an element of bit of fun, bit of humor, but I'm sure a lot of learning. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Those words are certainly going to be boosting factors for our participants, and next 3 months are going to be a life-changing moment for them. Now I would like to introduce Mr. Gopal Chaudhary, Senior Vice President and Group Security Officer, Chief Security Officer at Vedanta Group, a member of Group Security Committee. He is a seasoned leader with a functional leadership experience and proven track record of management of enterprise-wise integrated corporate security as business reliance enabler. Sir has a specialty in risk management, industrial security, fire services, brand protection, disaster management, loss and fraud prevention and management, safety, environment, well-being, forensics, technical and intelligence business continuity. Sir is a certified National Aviation Security Auditor by Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, Government of India. His research interests are in the areas of corporate security, KPI-based learning, aviation, port security, physical security with IT, fraud management, brand protection, and whatnot. Sir, may I please proceed?
Good morning. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Patel, Dr. Mehta, senior faculty members of the university and friends. It's a privilege for me to be here today. First, let me thank Dr. Patel who agreed to run this course exclusively for Vedanta officers. Sir, we are living in the VUCA world. We say volatile, uncertain. We know how much complexity is all around, and we also know how ambiguous situations move. You rightly said, sir, that government can't protect every industry, every citizen. It has its own limitations. They have to spend money on development, they have to spend money on disaster, they have to spend money on prevention of academics, education. But when we talk about making India a 5 trillion economy, when we want foreign investors to invest their money here, or even we are talking about migrating the industries, manufacturing industries from China to India, people invest their money. Most of the corporate houses take money on loan. They take money from investors, they take money from shareholders. And the purpose of any corporate is to protect the interest of the shareholders, because the company belongs to shareholders. Obviously, every penny spent on a project, on an industry, needs to be safeguarded. There comes the role of corporate security. We say that earlier it used to be confined to guards, guns and gates. Now they say, how do I ensure that the entire investment I have made is not lost to complex frauds, terrorism, extortion, crime, or even business discontinuity. Say for example, I'll give you an example, sir, that when Tata Steel was making a project, and in the last 20 years, that's the only mega project Odisha has witnessed, where Tata Steel spent more than 40,000 crore rupees in a small place called Jajpur, Kalinganagar, where you have abject poverty all around and you are spending 40,000 crore in a village. And what happens thereafter? Now those 40,000 crore investment has to be protected at any cost. And what is the cost that organization, sort of incurs? Is when your project is stopped even for 1 day. Approximate cost in 2030 for stoppage of work on 1 day was 5 crore. And invariably, if you have 20-25 days loss of project work in a year because of those local issues, because of not being able to manage the aspirations of the locals, at times greed also, you lose a lot of money. Similarly, if you see entire supply chain, now organizations are going from one continent to the other continent. You have a huge amount of supply chain all across. You are making commitment to your distributors, dealers, that would provide the required material in time so that their project doesn't suffer. Say for example, Amazon, Flipkart, Walmart, they take the consignment from one continent to the other at a lightning speed. They make a commitment. When you buy a product in Amazon, they make your commitment that you will get this product by 16th of or 15th of that month. Means they have already made a commitment to the customer. They can't afford not to fulfill that commitment, because only thing that they are providing is they are integrating the provider of the material, manufacturer of the material to the customer. They are basically the individual part. So this commitment has to be basically fulfilled. And what happens if somebody removes your material from the supply chain? You have a fraud in supply chain, you have a theft in supply chain. We have seen billions of dollars being spent to manage the, to pay the premium for the supply chain crime. Almost on $1 trillion economy, parallel economy, counterfeiting. The product that you are buying, which is basically a luxury product or any cost product or any luxury product, you are not sure if the product that you are using is a genuine product. Because there are players, very smart players, who are making similar or better looking packaging content to be whatever, and selling it in the name of that company, because that company sort of commands a premium. It's like this, that a face cream of a multinational company costs you almost all 20,000 rupees. A face cream of Pond's costs you maybe 190-20 rupees. So that gap of 190-20 rupees, 200 rupees to 20,000 rupees is a huge cost. And why do you pay 20,000 rupees? Because you say dermatologically tested, it has no side effect, it has not used any chemical that can harm you in the long run, and you can afford to pay that. Now, so counterfeiting, supply chain security, project cost are something that business also have noticed needs to be protected. You can't afford not to protect, you can't afford to have 100 crore rupees or 200 crore rupees loss in a year's time because of the disruption of work. So you need to manage the ecosystem. So over a period of time, from guards, guns and gates, corporates started migrating towards the management of entire loss prevention, fraud prevention and business continuity. They say, can you become a resilience enabler? Like say for example, I remember when I was working in Wipro, that all of a sudden there was a volcanic catastrophe in Iceland, and we had 200 people there working on project. Overnight they have to be removed, evacuated from there. Or say for example, all of a sudden because of tsunami, entire Wipro campus of Chennai got flooded, and you have 5,000 workers working, boys and girls, men and women, and you need to protect them because you are a human-centric organization. Even if you have one catastrophe, even if you have one big incident, you lose your entire credibility. So what happens during that period? Security is seen, corporate security is seen as a resilience enabler. How fast can you help us resume the operation? Then we have seen a couple of years like sir has said, the way technology is working now. We have seen cases in India where criminals have used CCTV and artificial intelligence to commit crime. They have put CCTV camera in the areas, connected with the wireless, monitoring the movement of a VIP or a commercially important person to kidnap that person. They don't have to put a person to sort of assess that. They put camera in front of that person's house and on a couple of road junctions to find out his movement and understand exactly why the person and his security guards and security PSOs are unable to notice anything that person is being put under surveillance. So we are talking about security using the technology. Here criminals are straight ahead of us. Cybercrime, we have seen recently. AIMS server was hijacked, sitting in Delhi, and they demanded 200 crore rupees to let you operate. When entire thing is flowing on internet, sir, like he's streaming the video from this place and the entire world can see this. I can see my CCTV camera on my mobile, what I need as a smartphone and the internet. Obviously, criminal can also see that if he has access and password. He doesn't have to go to buy. So gone are the days when we used to be taught about espionage. That you should look for a guy who look like this. You will see his suspicious activities and behavior. You'll find him in a corner with a camera and you need to gone are the days, sir. What we need is just to put a black hole in the system. What we call cyber threats. So one of my guys have been bought by them. And that person provides him in ADID and password and he's able to see. In fact, by remote, he can open my gate, close my gate permanently. In a situation like he puts a fire in a particular place and he has my entire access control is closed. People cannot come out of that area because he has blocked that. And by the time you react, damage has been caused. For example, I tell you in China, one of the person was fired because of misconduct. He was working in the steel plant. He was the operator who used to operate the entire ladle movement that carried molten metal. So molten metal is carried at a height and he used to know that. He was fired. He went to his home, he had the access password, he entered into the password. He entered into the system. And when that molten metal was crossing through a place where almost 150 people were doing something, you opened the ladle of that molten metal. Imagine the amount of loss that it caused. So, security, corporate security, you rightly said, sir, is moving from guards and guns and gates to business continuity now, resilience enabler. Now, how can we prevent the smartest, technically qualified criminal? So all the officers sitting here from Vedanta have been selected and they are again cherry-picked from the entire mass. All of them we have certain educational qualification. They must have minimum 60% marks in all the exam they have passed. And then they have to undergo a written test and interview process and then they join Vedanta. And we have, sir, around 175 officers, out of which 40 officers presently are women. In fact, we got the approval to hire 48 only women batch next year, and I intend to send them to Rashtriya University for training. So by next year June, Vedanta security will have almost 89 women officers. Why so much, sort of emphasis on diversity? Because our chairman and we all believe that first is inclusivity, and second is that since our entire workforce is going to be 30, 40, 50%, we also should have women security personnel 40, 50%. Definitely, we are working on capacity building, and this is first initiative by Vedanta to make sure that these young people who are going to be the leader of the future, and definitely, I don't know whether I will be able to see that 2047 or not, but they would definitely see most of them. They are the future leaders of industry, and I do not consider myself as a security leader. I consider first myself as a Vedanta leader. I'm part of the group executive committee thanks to my management. I want each one of them to get initiated into learning. So, university is going to get you initiated into learning process. It is not going to make you an expert in your field. All of you are already practitioners. Only thing that I will tell you is that make use of this beautiful temple, I say temple of security, temple of national security. Go before it, understand that it is you all who are going to be the basically torch bearer of this university. When you go from here, you become alumni of this university, spread the message, learn. Tell us what exactly do you want to improve, what do you want, what exactly sir has already told you. He has given you a clear mandate, go wherever you want any research, you want any focused knowledge, do that. Initiate yourself into learning, start learning into different aspects. Law cannot be taught to you in 20 classes or 30 classes. Cyber security cannot be taught to you in 5 classes. They are initiating you, they are sowing the seeds. Now you have to nurture that with your own effort, related with what you have been practicing. I'm so happy to see Soumya and Mr. Dave working so passionately about it. So let me tell you also that Mr. Dave and Soumya have visited Vedanta. Soumya visited one of our mining locations to understand how security operates, and I salute to them for that passion, that dedication. It is not merely a project for Soumya. I have seen Soumya, in fact, Sudarshana told me yesterday that look at Soumya at 8:39 in the night on Sunday. She is running around the campus, arranging accommodation, arranging production, arranging food, etc. This is the passion this university has. And I must tell you, I have been associated with her in the last 2 years. The amount of infectious passion and excellence that I get motivated every time I meet her in any occasion. This university is bound to go very high because I've heard our beloved Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, giving the clear mandate to the university that do whatever you want to do. We want to take this to the next level. One request I wanted to make, sir, in fact, I was discussing this with Dr. Akshat Mehta, that this is a university, this is an institution of national importance. We should have an access, sir, to the data, especially of incidents that happens across the country. And we do not want, those data available on internet because it's most of the time manipulated. We do not want any data on the internet that has its own biases. We want the data, say for example, bomb explosion, say for example, terror act, say for example, an heinous case, for example, an heinous murder, say for example, what happened in Udaipur recently, is our incident, sir. 10 days after Mr. Narendra Modi inaugurated that rail line between Udaipur and Ahmedabad, there was a blast. And for 2 days, all the media were talking about international, national terror, etc. But what finally came out was a local incident by a local person. So these facts when come to the university, because we receive a lot of practitioners in this university, we can tell them as to what were the real cause and how that can be prevented. What exactly are the inputs we have received, and obviously this entire data can be kept confidential here and can be taught only in the classroom, may not be taught in the open forum online. But definitely this is how this university can become, sir, a hub of research on what exactly is the relevant thing a police officer should know. Similarly, for the corporate sector, I would like this university to associate certain projects to certain experts on various aspects of security. Say, for example, you rightly said, sir, I am being told every time that how can we do security differently. So one of the aspects of doing security differently is that how can we make it a hybrid model. Hybrid model, like say, for example, these 24 officers who are present here, all of them put together must be supervising more than 300 plus private security guards. Each one of them supervises 10 to 12 private security guards during their shift. Maybe at times entire shift is supervised. So what happens, like say for example, we need to contain the cost, optimize the cost, and how can we leverage the technology, how can we leverage the processes and make the security cost optimal. Every corporate wants excellent security, excellence comes with a price, but again, we have certain principles of optimization of cost. We can club certain activities. Technology also helps us in terms of instead of putting 100 CCTV in open mines to keep a surveillance of that entire mine and the entire expenditure that we put on that mine, if you put a tailored drone in that area, it reduces the cost. So university can do a lot in terms of taking excellence, bringing best practices across, and also optimizing the cost, bringing the right way. Like say for example, we take security officers, how can we hire the right person as security officers who has the inclination? How can we make it as a preferred choice of career? And I'm sure sir that university has the requisite strength, it has the requisite excellence, and under your stewardship and leadership, university can play a big role in driving all this. I am already working with Mr. Dave to organize certain small programs for the corporate security officers at the higher level, where they are taught about best practices on crime and intelligence management, supply chain security, how cyber crime can be prevented, monitored, how mitigation plan can be made, how risk assessment can be done in a scientific manner. What exactly are the relevant clauses of law that is relevant to security services? So this can be done in all the campuses across. I definitely see a long way to go, and this university becoming the alma mater for any corporate security professional. Thanks a lot for providing this opportunity, sir, and thank you very much for all your support and blessings.
Thank you, sir. I believe that the collaboration between RRU and Vedanta is going to be beneficial for the nation as a whole. Now I'd like to introduce Dr. Akshat Mehta. He is University Dean and Associate Professor, Police Administration at Rashtriya Raksha University. Dr. Mehta's research interest is in the field of police reforms, internal security, human rights and gender sensitivity, police accountability, refining the image of police, road safety, private security, and the emergence of discipline of police administration in India. Sir is a resource person and an invited speaker for various institutions, universities, and academicians, including Internal Security Academy at CRPF. Dr. Mehta is a regular panelist in the part of several community radio programs discussing the current issues relating to police administration. Sir, may I please have it?
Thank you, Jishna. Respected Vice Chancellor, Sir, Shri Gopal Chaudhary ji, the Director of SASET, Nimesh ji, my colleague, the Center Head of Center for Corporate and Private Security Studies, Sirula, sir, the respected School Director, God, sir, all the distinguished people who have taken their time out to be here for the inaugural session of this basic course in corporate security management, and all the participants without whom no course would be successful. And we're just beginning our journey today. They say, sir, well begun is half the job done. And as you said that some dreams do come true, and a lot of efforts do go into making those dreams very successful. from the leadership of the university to the leadership being provided by you, sir, Chaudhary sir in particular, and walking the talk required someone like Nimish ji, Soumya ji, Sirola sir and others to really work towards conceptualizing this kind of an entire course, not a small course, 3 months, and that would require a lot of efforts, a lot of coordination, cooperation, synergy between various verticals of the university as well as the leaders as far as corporate world is concerned. Our motto is Rashtriya Raksha Sarvopari, and now what all constitutes under that Raksha is something which the nation has been debating for quite some time. As rightly reflected by both the Vice Chancellor sir as well as by Chaudhary sir, the public security is one element on which a lot of emphasis used to be there. I won't say that it was not rightly so, it was rightly so. But this interpretation of security merely confining itself to the public domain is something on which a lot of transformation and thought process has taken place in this country. The very, very pertinent being played by private security, corporate security is something to which the nation is now well, versed with. They all understand, we all understand how significant this entire domain has become. The sheer statistics also sometimes do point out towards this transformation which has taken place. 1 million plus is a huge kind of number which people were talking at one point of time. And now, considering the entire population of the country being 1.3 billion plus 2011 census, yet to come out, and we are talking about more than 10 million people who are contributing to the domain of private security. I think the entire attention is very much focused upon. Now, this all requires a lot of enhancement as far as its quality is concerned, and that is where the role of academia, role of research institutions and training institutions in sync with what is happening as far as the corporate security is concerned assumes huge significance. As rightly indicated in the brochure also, the word is security is not a product but a process. Also, I must say, and if I could add on, the business of security is not an ordinary business. This is something about which we all have to be continuously focused upon. Yes, knowledge of security is something towards which, as Chaudhary sir mentioned, initiation will be provided by the university. And once initiation into the learning about the knowledge of security is provided, I think a lot of you would be triggered into getting into the know-how entire security domain. I was told briefly while we were coming here that initially many of you had your experiences in operations, and now you are venturing into the domain of security. And that's where we would like to initiate you into the knowledge of security. Slowly and steadily working towards and probably achieving excellence as far as the knowledge of security is concerned. Our university has been created specifically for a mandate to strengthen the national security architecture, and we believe that along with whatever contributions we are making towards public security, it is our responsibility of each one of us actually, irrespective of the schools where we are working, that we do contribute towards strengthening the private and corporate security dimension as well. For your information, we do have dedicated School of Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology, headed by Nimish sir. We have a dedicated center also, Center for Corporate and Private Security Studies. Sirola sir has been taking care of that. We do have, even in our curriculum structure, if you look carefully, we do have Board of Studies, which universities do have for its particular programs. And in our Board of Studies, we have made it a point to certainly include people from corporate private security world. We do believe that knowledge cannot operate in silos, universities cannot operate in silos, and be it academicians or practitioners, as VC sir in a later note also mentioned that endeavor of the university dean is also to make academicians out of so many security professionals. But the broad idea towards which the sir is indicating is a blend of theory and practice, a blending of learning and doing, which has started taking shape in this university and perhaps nowhere else. And that's why I do believe that our small endeavors, including having the right kind of code of studies for several courses being offered here, including a PG diploma in industrial safety and security, to have the representation of a corporate player in our executive council. Shri Vikram Ankar sir is there now representing our executive council of the university, and to have, and if you could have looked at the introduction of the Chaudhary sir also on the governing body of the university, that's where we wish and we do want to take up this entire idea of blending of theory and practice, of some of us as academicians and some of those who are practitioners to join hands and work to provide a holistic kind of understanding about security domain as such. And that's where the journey which began in the Legislative Assembly of Gujarat in 2009 took some shape from 2010 to 2020 in Gujarat, now became Rashtriya, and not only Rashtriya but also an institution of national importance, being tightly seen by the Ministry of Home Affairs and several key stakeholders of the security architecture. I think this blending, this interchange of ideas is something which this university is slowly and steadily taking roots into, and I'm pretty sure, as Sir rightly indicated, a couple of years down the line, we will be seeing several of you at the top of your security organizations and also contributing to the world of research, academia, training and whatnot. We do have tie-ups with several corporate security organizations. Slowly and steadily, we are working on several tangents, including the central associations, which are operating in the private security domain. One by one, several organizations are getting attached to us, or we are making an effort towards that direction. Nimesh was mentioning that based upon, and Chaudhary sir was also, that based upon the tweet about this particular program, some queries have already started generating, and people are asking about Rashtriya Raksha University is also conducting courses on corporate security management, and more players would be, probably vying to get your attention, Nimesh sir and your team. So, more work for Soumya madam and others to be considered as such. Now, as was indicated that there are resources, and those resources have to be very optimally allocated. The government of India also does the same. There is a huge kind of an aspect of physical infrastructure on which investments have to be made, and simultaneously on the social infrastructure also, a lot of investments have to be made. Now, how do you prioritize? There is a possibility of a lot of private investment coming into physical infrastructure, and that's why some of the newer kind of modes of providing services like public-private partnership have started emerging, particularly in the physical infrastructure side, but also slowly and steadily we are seeing not for profit sector and even certain private sector entities through corporate social responsibilities are trying to chip in and provide some kind of services. I was really, I would say, stunned to see the kind of investment, 40,000 crores, which was mentioned in one village actually, being undertaken by one corporate entity, and that must be huge. And then to look into the aspects of loss prevention, owing to some disruptions taking place here and there, including based upon some local issues, which also needs to be, really addressed by all of you, because as Sir rightly mentioned, the wider ecosystem has to be managed. And for managing that wider ecosystem, you need to be well versed with certain knowledge aspects of security, which I'm pretty sure through a very well conceptualized program, obviously in mentorship, under the mentorship of Gopal Chaudhary sir, has been planned for you. I see aspects like decision making, organization behavior, I see aspects of negotiation, community services, and leadership, as rightly pointed out by the Vice Chancellor sir out here, all being made an attempt through this particular corporate security management course over a period of time, that you would be at least initiated into that kind of a knowledge. The excellence will come based upon your yearning, your exuberance, your passion for following up with whatever is being initiated out here in these kind of academic pursuits. I do really value what Chaudhary sir mentioned. We are in a temple of learning, and just like a lot of attention has been paid to several temples around the country and the world, I think university as a temple of learning is something towards which we all should go down repeatedly. I do expect that you would have the same kind of faith in the temple of learning, that's the university to which you all have come from the corporate world. We on our own side also assure you that we will leave no stone unturned to try to match up with your expectations about our university. All of us, irrespective of whichever vertical we are working, are available to have any kind of a knowledge sharing, interchange of ideas. I do wish you to have a hugely learning kind of a 3-month experience out here. Any shortcomings which are bound to come also probably, I request you to kindly point those out, share it with any one of us actually, and we also are in a learning kind of a curve, sir. You know our journey, sir. So last 2 years since becoming Rashtriya, we are, really catapulting ourselves to a bigger screen, and we do wish to undertake bigger kind of responsibilities, but those responsibilities would require critical feedback to come from each one of you, which would also help us to strengthen our pursuit towards really working towards Rashtriya Raksha Sarvopari motto. With these words, I am once again thankful to each one of you for choosing this kind of an course, and particularly thankful to Gopal Chaudhary sir for thinking that initially these kind of things used to take place far away in northern India, somewhere out there. I also came from that part of India to this university, and you have also brought all of these to this part of the university. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I believe that participants present over here might be very feeling certainly they'll be proud to be a part of this university for the next 3 months. Now I'd like to call for both of them, Mr. Nimesh Davi, he's the Director of School of Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology. Sir, please.
I've also grown with the university. You can see the change. So, good morning and good evening to all. Greetings to Vice Chancellor, Vimal sir, Gopal Chaudhary, University Dean, Akshit Mehta ji, Sirula ji, present School Director, my team and colleagues, participants. I will welcome you all. First of all, I would like to thank Gopal ji for bringing out this concept of training the security officer at Rashtriya Raksha University. In fact, he is the first one who brought this idea on the table. So he should be complimented for this. Without this, this would not happen. So Gopalji, thank you very much for bringing this idea and playing the critical role between R&D and Vedanta. Secondly, and most importantly, I should thank my Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Vimal Patel, who once again put his faith and trust in me and giving this task to me. I and my team always try to match his expectation, and he assigned a lot of challenging tasks prior to this also. I don't know at what extent we are successful, but we have tried our level best to design this entire training program. Thirdly, I would like to thank the top management of this university, Dean Sir, OEC, Registrar, Dean Training, for giving the approval and element required. Thank you. I should also thank my team, and you can imagine the seriousness of my team with respect to this training program. I and Soumya visited Hindustan Zinc head office last month, just beside what to do and when we'll start the program. And after that, Soumya and another team has visited the mines, the actual mines for 3 days. So you can imagine the seriousness that we have shown for this program. Now the team who joined Soumya is not a part of RRD. They are the resource person who will teach you for the training. So the team who joined Soumya is an academician from another university. She is designated UGC professor. She is 58-year-old and about to retire within a couple of years. So she insisted that before I teach to the participant, I want to see their behavior transition. So they have visited. Now you can imagine the seriousness, willingness, and curiosity she has shown. She drove her car from Mangalore to Java on her own, bringing Soumya and other team member to see, how minds are working, how you work, what is your day-to-day activity. So this is the amount of seriousness even from the resource person. You will certainly going to meet her tomorrow. And thank you very much for the resource person and Soumya for visiting the mines. Today we are all gathered here because of the great effort done by my team. I'm thankful to Soumya and the SASET team who made this day happen. So last month when we visited Hindustan Zinc Limited head office in Udaipur. So we have decided that we'll start this program from 12th of December. So after 2-3 days, Gopalji has called me over phone. Mr. David, are you sure we'll start from 12th of December? I said yes, sir. Certainly we'll start from 12th of December. And today is 12th of December, and we are starting this program. So I'm thankful to my team who made this day happen as committed. So we fulfilled our commitment. I'm also thankful to Sirolaji who helped us providing some of the resource persons because he has vast experience in security industry. So who has given us a lot of resource person who will teach you during the training program. It would also be very unfair if I do not mention the contribution made by my intentional placement team. So they are not the direct contributor to this program, but they help us as and when I request them. So I'm thankful to the intentional placement team. Lastly, I would like to tell to all the participants that you will have a great learning experience here. You will have the chance to see, meet, and interact with a lot of eminent and stalwart personality from the security industry in coming days. So with this, I conclude my vote of thanks, and I welcome you all for the great learning experience during the day. Thank you. Jai.
Thank you, sir. I would now request everyone to stand for the national anthem. We'll now proceed to Grand Porch for the group photograph. Please hold for a while.
Sir, cut.